series is that like I want to help you guys to be able to find like even more new patients like during this like crisis. And I get to interview like amazing people like Aaron who are gonna share with us like some of the stuff that is working really well. And we're gonna be able to deconstruct and get like tactical things that you could do that you could implement tomorrow. And I think this episode we are going to talk about email secrets, and that is kind of my my mission, you know. And just before we talk about Aaron, we do have a community partner, and our community partner this session is Practice Promotions, and they actually build beautiful websites. If you actually are part of the Practice Promotion community, type in Practice Promotion, please, right? Type that in the chat. Aaron, what's your experience with Practice Promotion?
I've heard about them, but I've never used it, so I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Cool. I hear a lot of people using Practice Promotion, you know, and so that's kind of what I see. And so very quickly, Aaron,
yes.
Tell me your story. You know, right?
Oh,
welcome.
Well, my name's Aaron Lebauer. I am a Sagittarius, and I used to race bicycles. I was a bicycle messenger in San Francisco. And along the way, I decided, before that, I graduated Duke University without going into law, management consulting, or medicine, because I couldn't finish the first night of organic chemistry homework. I became a massage therapist so I could race my bike full time, and then went back to PT school, where I saw 43 patients one day on my first clinical rotation, and realized this isn't how I can actually this is why I got into PT, because I had been seeing people who had been to PT, surgery, injections, massage therapy, chiropractic, acupuncture, and no one ever touched them where they hurt. And they were like, Aaron, you're the first person to ever touch me where I hurt. I'm like, really? Yes. So I went to PT. I saw 43 patients one day, and I realized I can't do PT the way I know my patients need it. And so then I knew I had to start a cash practice right away. And everyone told me it's not going to work, it's unethical, and no one's going to pay more than their copay for PT. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, I met Rick through our good friend Jerry Durham, and Rick and I have developed a great relationship of sharing information and geeky stuff back and forth and business insights. And Rick's inspired me to keep growing my business. And so I'm really excited to be here. And I've been helping other physical therapists and physios scale their time, income, and impact for the last 7 years.
Yeah. I think you're helping thousands of like physical therapists in the US. And one thing, like I still remember like my first time meeting you, right? You know, yeah. And I think we actually, we met at PPS, right? Am I right?
We met at PPS, but we just like hung out had a beer. And then it was the next year when I was like, I got to interview someone, and Rick's like, Jerry's like, interview Rick. Or maybe that was the same time.
That was in Chicago when you interviewed me, right?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
That was like awesome. And then we attended like a marketing and sales conference, you know, like Bedros, right?
Yep.
And so it was like this 3-day action-packed, everything about marketing and sales on how you sell to people in the fitness industry, you know, right?
Exactly.
And that's where I met Aaron, and I was like, oh my God, Aaron's doing some like amazing stuff for like sales and marketing, you know? And so, and that's why I'm super excited to have him here, because we're gonna actually talk about some of that stuff, you know? And so, hey, Aaron, just before we get started, I'm just curious, like, you know, when it comes to email marketing, a lot of people like are skeptical about that, right? You know, like they feel like they don't want to spam people. Is this something that like you hear a lot about, you know?
Yeah, I do. I hear a lot about it. I think people think that it's spammy. It's probably comes from the same place that, their fear of sales comes from. They don't want to be sold to, and they don't want other people to feel like they're selling to them when they're just trying to provide some healthcare to them.
Yeah,
the problem is most people don't know what we do. So we actually have to sell to them so they can get the help they need.
And I'm curious, type in the chat, who else feels this way? Who actually uses email marketing as part of like, who uses emails like as part of like marketing? You know, type in like emails if you do. I just want to, and if you don't do it, like maybe type in like why you don't, right? So I'm just curious, right? Yeah. Because my personal opinion, Aaron, is that like, if I even look at myself and what I've built over the last like, 10, 15 years, email has been the primary like vehicle for marketing for me, right?
Right. Oh my gosh. Like,
You know?
pretty much, I would guarantee that everyone on here came here via email. But both of my businesses, my clinic and my coaching business, have grown with email marketing more than any other marketing format or strategy.
Yeah, totally. And let's put this in perspective, is that like, if you think about this, because everyone, like, I think there's this battle always between. Hey, Aaron, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So there's always this battle where like people feel like I got to do either email marketing or social media. Like it's one or the other, right? And so there's all this battle where like, hey, social media marketing feels good, but email marketing like feels dirty, right? Right? And there's this like constant battle, right? And let's maybe dive deeper a little bit of that, because I think there's a bit of misconception on how people use social media marketing, right? So
yeah, absolutely. Social media is like our escape. Email is how we communicate with other people. And I think the trap people get into is they think that their followers are theirs, or their followers are dollars. But and so I've seen a lot of people who have tens of thousands of followers and no one on their email list. And then people with a big, massive email list and no followers, and the people with the big email list who know how to market and sell are outperforming the people with the big social media following. Because people are on social media for, just to escape and to, learn about you and connect with you. And so they work together, not independently.
Yeah, I love that. And, and anyone that's actually part of my community, like for me, social media, and if you look at like social media, like Aaron and I are very active in social media. We have, almost like 8,000, 9,000 followers. And like, we got big Facebook groups, we use social media to be able to like cast our net out to develop trust, right? Right. So we build trust, we build a personal brand using social media, but somehow, ultimately, we want to be able to get their email address, right? Because once we get their email address, then we could send them like direct messages on like offers, or like we could share or we could send them to like certain like offers and campaigns, right? If that makes sense, type in trust. The purpose of social media is to develop the trust, but ultimately at the end of the day is that I want to either grab their email address, or I want them to call me, or I want them to book an appointment with me, right? Right? And email is the one thing that allows me to be able to like send directly. If that makes sense, type in trust, in the chat.
Yeah, and even email's a place where I build trust, because I share my story and I connect with them in a place where they're looking to converse with me.
Yeah, and let's address that objection where people feel like the emails that you're getting are spammy, right? And so my answer to that, everyone, is that like, you're like, if you feel like your email is spammy, it's likely because it is spammy. So stop writing those emails, okay? Those are not the emails that you write, okay? If that makes sense, type in spam, okay? If you feel like the emails are spammy, it's because it's the wrong types of emails, okay? If you actually write emails that have value, right, and that connects with them, it's actually very powerful emails, everyone, okay? And so, like, Aaron, is there anything you kind of want to add to that?
Yeah, I think here's what makes an email spammy is you just email someone and saying, hey, buy my thing now, book appointment now, shop now. Like you'll see that on the buttons too. And that's spammy because you're just asking someone to buy something. But what makes it valuable, and what people have to understand, how do I make it valuable? Well, valuable is not solving the problem or just solving the problem. Valuable is helping people identify what the problem is and why they need to do something about it, and connecting with me. So in my emails, and we can go in, I think we'll be going into this deeper, but I start with a little bit about my story and helping people identify what the problem is and why they need to do something about it. But the sale comes in after I've already done that. Here's what I want you to do next. And it's not always buy something. And if we're using a formula like that, then the emails aren't spammy, they're informative and helpful.
Yeah, and if everyone actually is either on my email list or on Aaron's email list, you will see those are the type of emails that we will send out, right? And just the last thing, as before we deconstruct like kind of like the tips and what works for email marketing, is that I wanna, like, the last part I want to talk about social media is when you go on social media, in essence, like you're renting like this asset from Facebook and like and Instagram, they will, based on their algorithm, like they will show whatever they want to show to the people based on like what's on their back end, right? Your purpose of using social media is to like be able to collect their emails, right? Because once you have their emails, and whether you use paid ads or you do free stuff on Instagram, Facebook, is like once you collect their emails, then you could actually send them direct message directly, and you could bypass Facebook and you could bypass Instagram. You don't have to rent their assets somewhere. You don't have to care about their algorithms, right? So if that makes sense, type in like email, because I think this is a very important point that most people don't understand. The ultimate goal is that how can I nurture these people, get them to develop trust, so either call or email me, right? Once I have that, then it allows me, like, and I go back to like the first wave, remember first wave, like March, when like there was a complete lockdown across the country. What was the one thing that reopened our clinics again? Was it through email or was it through like social media, right? Aaron, if like back in March, like, when during the lockdown, how do we communicate with people?
Yeah, social media. Well,
yeah.
And I mean, like, you mean, how do we sell? I mean, everyone went to social media. Everyone went to YouTube. But how did I keep my businesses running? That was email.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of questions about privacy right now. So this is like, maybe we'll tack that in the end. I think Jean is in here as well. Maybe we could actually put Jean later on mic. And Jean, she's a privacy like consultant, and like maybe we could get her to talk about that. But let's say that till the end, okay, John? About when it comes to privacy and what you can and cannot do. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the types of emails. Aaron, what are the different types of emails you would say that like a clinic owner should like send out, right?
Yeah, oh, this is an awesome question. I was actually just teaching this to my Platinum Mastermind group yesterday in our one of our master classes, the 3 main types of emails that everyone needs to have. And there's 3 big ones, and I think there was a 4th one, but you need to have like a thank you email. Okay, so a thank you email is something that people need to have, like you signed up for a visit in the clinic. What?
So is this a lead? Is this lead gen, or is this?
No, this is for both. So it's a thank you email. It can be used for lead generation, like your free ebook or checklist or cheat sheet, or when someone becomes a patient. It's more important when someone just like opts in or requests an appointment or a free thing online, because they need some confirmation that they've been heard. But we also do it when someone becomes schedules an appointment, they get an email to confirm their appointment, because we've all been there where we bought something online and the checkout page was kind of wonky, and when we go check your email, it's like, did the receipt come in? Oh, it didn't. Did it go to my bank account? It said I did, it didn't. As if we don't have a thank you email, people are left wondering. So you need that like thank you confirmation type of email, and it can be set up as automated. The other type of email that I send are for people that are our current patients, and our current patients get emails not only just, okay, you've welcome to our clinic, here's what you need to know. It's a series of about 10 emails that with information that I want all of our patients to know.
So is this an onboarding email? Like when
so this is like an onboarding email,
right? Okay.
Yep. So from day one, you've actually been seen and evaluated and paid. I've got a lot of different ones in between. So I could talk about what that is, but the 3 main types are like, here's this onboarding email, here's this confirmation thank you email. And then the other type of email that you need is an engagement or direct response email, which is a message out to people that are already your customers or prospects. And there's 2 different ones where it's, hey, are you still interested in this? If yes, just hit reply, reply back to me now. Or that would be to someone who is a prospect, and someone who's a patient would be more of a, hey, you know, how are you doing since our last visit? Just checking in on you. Can you tell me what's improved and what's changed, or what progress have you made? And I'm getting a direct response from people.
I love that. So that is called, if you can see my screen here, I put into two buckets. Okay, let's put into like a lead gen bucket and like let's call it like a patient bucket. You know, maybe not. Yeah, let's call it a patient bucket. Right. So that one specifically is called it's almost a checkup email. Is that an annual checkup that you do, or a quarterly? Like, what do you do?
Yep. So and I love how you're showing this, because this is how I had it built out on my PowerPoint yesterday. There's lead gen. There's the three types of emails, and they can be used for lead gen or patient with slight different tweaks. And so yes, there's that confirmation thank you email. There's a onboarding email. So you've downloaded the free thing. You know, here's the next thing that you're going to do. And then there's this direct response type of email where I'm sending out a broadcast that's asking you to directly respond. There's the fourth type of email, which is, and I believe yesterday it was the direct response one was the fourth one, but there's the fourth one is more of the daily story, Seinfeld/sales email. It's the way, the reason it's called Seinfeld email is because, remember, Seinfeld show was a show about nothing. It's not really a show about nothing. It's a show about these people's lives and the little minutia of their lives that makes an impact or teaches a story. And so this fourth type of email is, it's almost like an update, but it's not an update. Here's what I'm doing. Here's something that happened to me. Here's what I learned about it. And here's how it's affected my life and how I've used that to help my patients and clients. And at the end, there's still a call to action about, here's what I want you to do next. Book a free call, download this new thing, go check out this YouTube video I made, etc.
Yeah.
Those are the four main ones, and they can be used for both customers and prospects, or lead gen and existing clients.
Yeah. And just so we're clear, this direct response email, like, is this is mostly the spammy emails that most people get, right? It's like, buy this, buy now, right? No.
Yes. No. So this is not the spammy type of email. It's a question. So there's direct response marketing is marketing where we're looking for a action or response from the prospect. Right? Coca-Cola, Merck, Pfizer, they don't use direct response marketing. They just do brand advertising. Occasionally on a medication advertisement, let's say, ask your doctor or pharmacist about, and so they're asking, that's a call to action, but you're not directly responding to the company. This direct response email that I'm talking about it's an email, it's short, sweet, feels very personal, and I'm asking them to basically reply back to me with their answer. I want a very hard direct response, like, just, hey, reply now and let me know. It's like, hey, Mrs. Jones, are you still interested in getting help with your back? Dr. Lebauer.
I love that one. Okay, so let's just do that. So this is where, like, it's like more of like reply back, right? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So how, like, most people don't understand direct response. So what's another word that we could use that most people understand? Like,
gosh,
because now you're talking like a marketing person. Let's not talk like a marketing person.
I know. Let's call it a personal email.
Okay, a personal email. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's still not sent from my personal email address. It's sent through my marketing email software. It can still be automated and sent to. I can send it to 100 people at once.
Yeah. Okay. So let's call that a personal email, right? And then the Seinfeld email, and then I'm gonna say this. So there's gonna be a confirmation email. There's gonna be a nurture email, right? So this is where you nurture the prospect, right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Or nurture the patient to ultimately come to your thing. You're gonna send them these like random Seinfeld emails, and then ultimately you're gonna send them like some type of like personal like email reply back, right? Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's for like lead gen. Okay, let's just do this as like lead gen, and then for existing patients, right? So let's just say they are a patient now, right? They're a patient. We're gonna have like a welcome email, right? Am I right?
Yep.
Actually, you know what? It's really more like a welcome onboarding email. Is that the right?
Yes. And it's like there's this one welcome email, but there's also, so in our clinic, we send them an email when they schedule their appointment, and then we send them a different email when they become a patient.
Yes.
We have two different
So,
triggers.
so part of this like welcome email, who actually sends like onboarding emails to their clients, you know, like type onboarding if you do this, right? Type that in the chat if you actually send onboarding emails, right? So Aaron, like let's talk about this. So part of your onboarding emails, how many emails do you send, and what does it kind of like, what does the path look like, you know, right?
Yeah, we use an application funnel for our patients, and so they fill out an application, and then we send them basically a thank you confirmation email. Says, hey, we've got your application. We'll reach out to you within the next, you know, 1 to 2 business days or 24 hours. Here's what you told us. And then we have, two more emails that come through that sequence.
So let's just say they book with you. So they book with you, like
they book with me. Well, they're not booking a paid appointment. This is a free like consultation.
So I'm talking about right now, if they are a paid, like they booked in like a paid with you.
They
like,
booked it. Okay, great. So, hey, Mrs. Jones, welcome to the clinic. Here's, we're excited to work with you. And we have a little spot where my physical therapist will fill in like their goal, and it'll feed forward their goal and personalize that email and say, here's what you've told us. Here's what we're going to help you achieve. And here's what to expect after your first visit. And then the next day, I send them another one about, you know, like after your first visit, sometimes people are sore or a little uncomfortable. That's perfectly normal. And the reason I send that is because I, you know, have had people complain in the past, what'd you do to me? Like, I feel worse now. Like, I'm like, I didn't do anything. You know, like, and we talked about it in the clinic. I just have to reinforce some of the same things that I say. And so I'll send an email about that. And then there's, and I've just built out a series of emails for the most common things that I want my patients to know.
So is it like more like common objections, or is it like, or is it
it's
more
objections, like fears, health tips, that type of stuff. I mean, the beginning one is more of like a setting up, here's what to expect. You know, here's the 3 stages of care that we're going to go through together. Here's what, you know, like why you might feel sore, and what you should do about it, and when to let us know and when to worry, and why most people you shouldn't worry. And then that's really like the first few days. And then it's because also in setting up the 3 stages of care, I'm trying to set up and, you know, get people from dropping off when they feel better. I'm like, as soon as you feel like you don't need us, now we're in phase 3. You know, that's where we can help you feel better, stronger, and faster than you were before, and make you more resilient to this ever happening again.
Yeah. So the whole purpose is that you do the expectations, you know, like you deal with some of their objections and fears, right? You know, you're gonna do some health tips, you know, and if you sell product, it's a good time to introduce products somehow, right?
Yes.
You know, products.
And we're also getting, we're building in condition or agreement for them to refer their family and friends. Yeah. And we're following up with them a few weeks later about, you know, referring their family and friends in these messages as well.
Yeah. And then do you also put in like patient success stories, right?
We put in patient success stories more in the lead generation emails and what I call the onboarding emails, which is you've booked your free appointment and I've got 3 emails before your first visit coming to see you. And that's where I'm putting patient success stories in there, because even though someone's booked a free visit, that doesn't mean that they're a paid visit, and I need to show them success. Once someone's become a patient, I'm not giving them as many patient success stories as I am tips and information to keep them on their plan of care.
Okay, I love this. I love this. And then one last thing on the types of emails, like I just want to summarize here. Is, you know, we got the welcome onboarding emails, right? You know, we talked about doing the checkup, you know, so like it's almost like a reactivation email. Like it's almost like, hey, like a checkup, like how you doing, like how you doing since, like how you doing with your back since the last time I saw you, type of thing. Right.
Exactly.
And then we should also like, do you do a fall off email as well, right? So these are the people that drop off their plan of care, right? Like they stop, like, you know, their plan of care of 10 visits and like they dropped off second, like they just ghosted you, right?
Yes. So we don't have a trigger for that. So we do more follow-up. We'll follow up with phone calls for that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Rather than emails.
Yeah. But it could be a combination of both, right? You know?
Yeah. So it could be absolutely can.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm going to leave it at that. I think this is good, right? You know, so I'm going to, and and Aaron, like,
Mhm.
let me throw this back at you.
Absolutely.
If like, let's focus on like the fact that they've downloaded, like, you got their email address, you've done all this stuff on social media, you've created trust with them, right? They
Mhm.
like you, right? They followed you, right? And then, like, you know, they're not ready to buy yet, but they downloaded one of your products, right? Like, maybe like they're and they're getting emails from you, you know, like, what is like one email template, you know, that what is one email strategy that like someone could send tomorrow to all these people that aren't their patients to get them to come in to see you, right?
Yes, that's the 9-word email. That's
Okay.
the, you know, like this personalized email where if you know you've got 50 to 5,000 people have downloaded your back pain ebook, you could send them an email that says, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, are you still interested in getting help with your back? Dr. Lebauer."
That's it. Are you still
That's
interested
it.
in fixing your back?
Yeah.
All right. Who likes Aaron's 9-word email? Type in 9. Okay. So, and what's the subject line? What's the subject line?
His subject line is just their first name. That would be the
Okay.
simplest way. Or you could use the word question.
Okay. So
Question.
so you can see the screen. So subject line is question, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
So actually, let's do the trigger. So the trigger, right, is anyone, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
that downloads your downloads in the ebook, right?
Right.
Or like, actually, they might have even signed up to one of your webinars, right? It could be anything.
Yeah, they might have signed up. So if you're going to say, do you want help with your back pain? It needs to be because they've signed up to one of your back pain webinars. They've downloaded your back pain book. Maybe you've got a tag that when they visit your blog post about back pain, you can use some site tagging and tag them. Anyone that's visited that page about back pain and spent more than 30 seconds on it, you could say, "Hey, are you still interested in fixing your back?"
Okay.
Or, you know, are you still interested in, you know, fixing your knee? Or they came to a running workshop. Are you still interested in, you know, getting better running? You know, it's that, like, last part is like the blank. It's like, are you still interested in blank? Whatever segment of prospect this is.
So
Still
let's
interested
talk
in
about
growing
a
your business.
possibility. Are you still interested? So this is like, are you still interested in fixing back pain? Fixing your back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still interested in running, right? You know,
Yep.
running again, right?
You can just say blank physical therapy. Are you still interested in physical therapy or physio?
Right.
Are you still interested in seeing physio will help?
Okay, well, no, this is good. Keep on going. Type it.
Yeah. Are you still interested in chatting? You know, because maybe they signed up for a free consult but didn't show up. Are you still interested in you know, learning more about why physio might not be right for you?
Right.
I mean, you throw the negative on them. Be like, what do you mean? And then they might reply to like, what do you mean it might not be right for me? You're like, well, and then you reply back, it's not right for everyone, but I'd love
What I like
to see
about
if I
this
can help you.
is very simple. And so, and who sends this? Is this a min, or is it like a clinician, right?
It can be anyone if you're using the right software.
Okay.
So
But
I'll typically do it.
low tech too. Let's be honest. Most people don't have a software, right? So let's go low tech, right? So Aaron, low tech is like anyone that downloads your ebook, because most people, like, you know, like just get a clinician to email them, right? Or
Sure.
right.
I mean, that's that's time intensive. The software for $9 a month or $50
Oh, no,
a
I
month
get
is
it.
going to save you
I
a
get
ton
it.
of time.
Yeah. The reason I go
And I
low
could
tech
send
is
out-
that majority of people just don't have. I think like anyone that signs up for your program, like you're going to teach them how to do, which is perfect. A lot of people like that are old school, like, which there's a lot of people, which is okay, right? It's
But
low
here's
tech.
the danger, Rick, is that if you're going to do this, don't send it to 20 patients. There's 20 to 200 patients at once by CCing or BCCing them.
Yes.
Because the number one danger isn't HIPAA or privacy, which you're violating privacy. It's that your Hotmail, Google, Yahoo account is going to mark you as a spammer, and then you'll be then you're done. Like, you can't send messages from that account. No one will ever get them.
Yeah.
I use something, we use ActiveCampaign. It's really simple. We upload all our patient emails, and I can segment them into patients, prospects, back pain, hip pain, knee pain. and send them specific messages. And it takes no longer than opening up Gmail to send this message to people.
Okay.
And it's cheap. And everyone on here is smart and got through neuroanatomy. So I get it, like, yes, but I'm going to say, like, you should be using some kind of email software for those.
I personally use HubSpot and I use Active Campaigns.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Aaron, use Active Campaigns. It's quite easy.
Yeah.
But even if you go low tech, everyone, because like, let's be honest, like if you go low tech, I think the point of the story Aaron is sharing is that like someone that attends your webinar, just send them a personal email using this line, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like,
oh yeah,
what you need to do, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
if you're not busy and you got time and your clinicians are like twiddling their thumbs, they better be sending a message like this instead of surfing Facebook, to look at the latest memes.
Yeah.
And this is something you could DM people.
Type in personal email if this makes sense. This is a very simple. Anyone that like gives you their email address, like off something thing, like you just send this very simple like things. Type that in the chat, personal email, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So,
and Rick, this can be something that's part of your monster follow up too, where you're emailing, messaging, texting, and calling and leaving. It's like, hey, Mrs. Jones, it's Dr. Lebauer. Just curious, are you still interested in doing X? Are you still interested in learning this? And people respond to it.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm a big fan of like running webinars or like doing content. And so if someone that's like attending your, like maybe your TMJ like webinar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that's what you talk about. Like, like this, when you email them, right? Like, like you're going to throw in like the TMJ thing. Are you still interested in fixing your TMJ? Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I think that's kind of the key here.
Yeah. And the thing with this email is the timing of this isn't like right away after they download something. It might be after you send a few other messages and you wait, like maybe 2 weeks to a month. It's like, you've been on my list for a month. Are you still interested in fixing this problem?
Okay. That's a good one. So this is 2 weeks from download. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. At least at minimum 2 weeks after download.
So don't do it the day of, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Don't do it the day of, because you didn't even give them time to, pretend to read the ebook or guide, which most people won't read.
Hey, this is interesting. Hey, if you're gonna give this a try, type in 2 weeks, okay? So 2 weeks of someone attending your webinar, or 2 weeks of someone downloading an ebook or subscribing to your newsletter, like just send this out, right?
Yeah. And so and it's not 2 weeks from today, because everyone on here could leave this webinar and go send it right now. And when you do, I want to know what the results you got and how much money you made from it. But
so Aaron, I'm curious, like in terms of like metrics, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If we look at metrics, what type of what have you seen by sending this like within your like the people that you coach in terms of like open rates and reply rates, right?
This is like one of the biggest open rates. This and the
Okay.
checking and emails have the largest open rates.
So open rates are what, you think 50, 60% this one?
It depends on the segment. Yeah, like for my clinic, I'll get a 70% open rate.
Okay. So let's just say 70%, and like I've seen this before. So like, once again, I think question, checking in, right? Those are simple, good subject lines. Okay. Open rates are 70%. And then what about reply rate? What should you expect? What's a good reply rate?
I haven't done too much reply tracking, but I'll send it in. And some days, like, pandemic, like we wouldn't get much, like 1 or 2 people. Other times I'll get 10, 15, 20 messages.
So what do you think? Like, what percent do you think? If you have a list of, let's say 1,000, if you have 1,000 people on your list, like, what do you like? Let's do 100 for simplicity. Do you think
you got 100, if you send this to 100 people and they've never received this before, and they've been on your list and, for, a month or more, I think you should get at least 10 replies. I mean, you could get 50 replies. Like it really depends on how engaged they are. Is this going to go in their inbox?
But 10 is a good number to go for, right? So if you send it to 100, right?
Yeah, 10%.
Is it 10 out of the 70 that open, or 10 out of the 100 that you send it to?
I would say 10 out of the 100 you send it to would reply back. So
Okay.
that's it. So every software tracks the metrics a little bit differently. Active Campaign is going to track the click through and the reply based on the total number of emails sent, not just the emails opened.
Okay. That's great.
And I want to make this point, Rick, like when we look at the percentages, if anyone on here is like, man, I didn't hit that, or I crushed it or whatever, it's like, it doesn't, the percentages don't matter. It's like, can you send one email that takes you 10 minutes to do and change one person's life and make $1,000 to $5,000 off of that one email that you sent out? And the answer is yes. I mean,
and let's be honest, like, each new patient is worth at least $500 to $1,000, right? And for Aaron, like you, is like $1,500, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's each new patient for us is worth $2,000.
Yeah.
Plus everyone they refer down line.
So will I, like, I'm okay with them, like, I'm okay with sending this email to make $2,000, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or $1,000, for example, right? And so I think that's good. Last thing on metrics, because I'm a big fan of this, is that like, I think ideally, like from what I see in good open rates, it should be like north of 60%. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get a good reply rate, like 10%, like great, What do you think is a good click-through rate, Anywhere from, a good click-through rate, depending on it depends on the segment of your audience you're sending it to, and that's why, like I send not just to everyone on my email list, but people who have opened an email or been to my website in the last 30 days. And when I do that, the open rate's much higher. So for the clinic, an open rate of anywhere from 5 to 20% is going to be amazing. Yeah,
for my coaching business, 0.5% to 5% is just like for click-throughs.
I'm going to say anything north of 15% is a good number. Okay.
Anything north of 15% isn't a great number.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you got to remember, so it depends on which email we're talking about. But like this, are you still interested in blank email? Like people aren't clicking through, they're replying.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of questions rolling in, and I like there's a lot going on in here, and so this one, I just want to I think there's a question about like webinars. Like we're not going to talk about webinars, otherwise we're going to talk about something else. We might run another session of webinars. When it comes to maybe sending messages about like, I think there's a question about like, should I send messages to like EMRs, versus like through my EMR versus like your email? I think what we're saying is like, the question is like, either send out a personal email through your Gmail account or use some of the marketing automation software out there, like Active Campaigns, but do not do it through your EMR, right? Because I don't know, like, I think it will look like it won't look like a personal email. It will look like a newsletter, right? Yeah. If that makes sense, Lauren, type in yes. And then in terms of privacy, let's just quickly put Jean on mic, okay? Let me put Jean very quickly. Jean, hopefully you're there, Jean. Right? Hey, Jean, are you there? Hopefully you're there, Jean. Hey, Jean, how's it going? Good. Hey, just everyone, so Jean is like a privacy consultant, and this is all she does, right? So Jean, maybe you could quickly, in maybe 2-3 sentences, like, how do you do with the privacy in terms of like emails, right?
Sure. So I agree with what you were saying, Rick, about making sure that the emails that you have for your health services is separate from the emails that you're going to use to nurture people in about all of those other good things that you do in your practice. So when you collect an email address for a health service, so you're going to send them appointment reminders. That's very specific to the core business that you're providing them. They are consenting to be able to use their email for that purpose. If you want to do the nurture series, like we're talking about here with Rick and with Aaron, then I do recommend that you keep that in a separate system. So you're collecting the email address for a health service. That's one thing. Collecting the email address to nurture them and keep in touch with them, that's a different purpose. Keep them on different systems. The other thing to remember is make sure that you're collecting an appropriate email address. So make sure it's personal to that individual and that they have access to it and not their bosses. So don't accept an email address related to their place of work. It has to be a personal email address. Otherwise, you could be perceived as sharing health information with their employer, and you don't want to do that. So keeping them separate, use
And
email.
Gene, I would say too, like you told me this over the years as well. That's why like when they download these ebooks and webinars, like there are sign up forms, and these sign up forms, like there's consent buttons for them to release your email. So this is why you like have these pop-up forms to get consent, you know, right? And so would you say that's right, Gene?
That's right. You want to be able to consent them if they're attending a webinar or downloading an ebook, and keep that separate from what you're reminding them about an appointment for their physiotherapy appointment, for example.
Yeah, that's cool. Gene, thanks for sharing that. And I think there's a lot of questions about privacy, so I don't want to take away from like the purpose of this thing. Maybe Gene, you could send some contact information for people that is interested in learning more about privacy, or maybe you have a course or a webinar that you could share with them. Maybe put that in the chat. Is that cool, Gene?
I'd be happy to do that. Thank you, Rick.
All right, thanks, Gene. Okay,
Bye.
All right. Okay, what do you think? Okay, so Aaron, back to you. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is actually really cool. So we talked about this. I actually love what you put here. Can we like? I'm curious. Like, what are some like? What do we say are like maybe the top email tips on like how would you like when it comes to writing emails, right? You know, like what is? Do you have any like? What are your tips that you would suggest? You know?
Yeah, the number one tip is make the email look personal. So don't make it as like a newsletter with a banner and a sidebar and an article, et cetera. It should be like white. It should be, what is it, like the 12-point, font that what does Gmail use or Yahoo Mail use? I mean, it should come across to them in a very familiar format, and it should have a very like a signature that's your like work signature that looks like this is a personal email from Dr. Lebauer. Okay, so that's email tip number one.
But don't make it look like a newsletter. Let's be honest. 99% of people who send out clinics makes it look like a newsletter. Like a corporate
no one
newsletter.
wants to read your newsletter. And I'm tempted to use a bad word in there. Like no one wants to read. Newsletters are done. Like no one cares about your newsletter. They don't care about you. They care about them.
I don't understand what a newsletter is. Like, how did they come up with that name?
A newsletter is like, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. And if you're good, you might show some patient stories in there. Here's what we're doing at our clinic. And it's still not about the patient. And it's not personalized. So it's make it look personal. And then number two would be make it sound personal. And the way you make it sound personal is you have to know who specifically you're writing your email to. So if you don't know who your patient avatar is, you need to get really familiar with that because you're always going to sit down and write this email directly to your patient avatar. And then by doing that, what you're doing is as you're writing the email, you're making it sound just like you would write it to this person. You're just using little short codes to insert everyone's name and the email services putting in everyone's email address.
Yeah.
Those are the top two tips. And if there's a third tip, it's practice. So send them out on a regular basis.
And what's like, if we're going to write one of these like typical Seinfeld emails, right? What's the structure? Like, what would the format look like,
Yeah.
In the very beginning, like, what do you do? Right.
Yeah, this is awesome. Here, let me just open up my, my notes from yesterday because I have that written out. Let me just pull this up. Let me see if it's in the recents. Writing effort. So the masterclass I did yesterday was called Writing Effortless Emails to Sell. Because not only were we talking about this, but I've had my mastermind members talking about this too. And it's the, let me just go to the structure.
So while you look for your structure, I'm going to talk about the structure I use, okay?
Yeah.
Because like the way you write emails, Aaron, is like how I do it, right? So one of the things I like to do when I start off the email is like I like to tell a story. I want to share a story of like in this case, I'll share a story of a patient success story or a patient challenge. But I want to talk about it. It's kind of like the type of story you want to share is like the story you would like talk to your friend about, right? Right. And while you share the story, you actually identify the problem, and then while you talk about the problem, you're actually inserting like kind of your credibility and your social proof, right? Yep. And then part of that, and then this is the most important thing. You got to give them value on this email, right? So part of giving them value in this email is give them 3 things they could do to like fix that problem that we talked about. And then at the very end, you do some type of call to action, and the call to action could be like, download this, read this, watch this, or book now, free consult, whatever it is, you know? Right? So that's kind of my structure. So Aaron, I'm curious about yours.
Yeah, mine, it's very similar. It starts with the compelling subject line. We have to get people to open the email. So you have to, so the subject line has to sell them on clicking to open. So every step of this process is selling on the next thing. So the compelling subject line, like, Aaron, Rick, have you heard about this? Or, you know, sometimes it's, oh my gosh, like, I can't wait to, you know, like, did you hear? Like, did you hear what? I got to open the email. Or don't do these 3 steps, do this instead. So I got to get them to open it. And then we have to have a like attention getting headline. And on a sales page, it's a headline at the top of the sales page, but on an email, it's your introductory sentence has to get them reading the rest of the email. And then it's the personalized message story. Here's what's happening to me. Here's what I've learned, etc.
What's an example of attention grabbing headline that you found?
It's like this last week, this crazy thing happened with my daughter, and I'm excited to tell you about that. You know, like,
this crazy thing. That's a good
crazy thing happened. Like you won't believe what happened over the weekend. It was like, ooh, what happened over the weekend? Well, I learned about this thing, and my daughter got hurt. But first, let me share. Let me set up the story. And people are like, ooh, okay. So I'm telling a story, and that story becomes the personalized message. And in that, or after that, I have to agitate the problem. So it's like, I might tell my story, and then, hey, you know, I work with plenty of patients, and the number one thing they say is this, like, I know that you're struggling with that because everyone, you know, struggles with this, or, you know, we have to agitate the problem, not just, you know, identify, but we have to really like agitate it and like kind of dig into the wound a little bit to get them to feel it. And then it's show proof, you know, just like this patient I worked with last year who, you know, went from having like sharp pain in her hip and unable to run 3 miles to finishing the Ironman in 8 months later. You know, so since that we've put together, we have to share your solution. So I've finally figured out how to get people from running in pain to, you know, ultra distance marathons in the shortest time, you know, in just, you know, 10 weeks, or people who thought they would never run again to be able to run, you know, as much as they want. So that's my solution. And then here's the call, and then it ends with the call to action. It's like, go to the webinar, click on the link, you know, join this free thing, get a free call, get in the program, reply back now, go do this, get in our Facebook group, follow me on Instagram, etc. The call to action text has to also be compelling. Like each step has to compel the person to take the next action. And so as much as that subject line has to get you to open it, that call to action has to compel you to click and to go to the next.
Do you give them any like value, like and actionable takeaways, you know?
Yes and no. The value isn't in how to fix the problem. The value is in the story and them seeing this problem in themselves and understanding what the problem is and why they should do something about it. And that comes in that agitation and personalized message.
So Aaron, I struggle with this. I send 2, 3 emails like a week. And so do you, and we get this game. So how do you balance, like, because something that most people are always thinking about is like, Aaron, you know, or Rick, I don't want to send these like really long emails, you know, because it's like you're getting me to write like a movie, you know, like really, like I don't like reading these type of emails, right? You know, right?
Yeah, but you like reading them from certain people, I bet.
I do. That's
right?
right?
So here's the deal. It's like, I'm not going to read a long email from everyone. So the email should be formatted so it's easy to skim and scan. There shouldn't be, you know, 5-sentence paragraphs. It should be 1 to 2-sentence paragraphs. And if you write a long email, the people who are your avatar who want your help are probably going to read the whole thing because you're speaking right to them. Rick and I are going to see that, you know, like, I'm not your patient. I don't want to read the whole thing. And there's certain people's emails I will read the whole thing, and others I just want to scam. And if it's a newsletter, I won't. But how do I balance it? I send a lot of emails. I probably send, I send more the weeks that I'm doing some kind of promotion or event, but I have a lot of them on autopilot. And I don't really feel like I need to balance it, because once someone gets on my email list, it's not my job to end the conversation. And that's one of the most important things. I think the fear is that people are going, oh, I'm going to put too much in their inbox.
Yeah, I think that's the fear. And the second fear is like fear of ego, of like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't believe this patient unsubscribed from me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And one of my, like, and I don't hear what your take is. My take is that, like, if they unsubscribe from you, it's likely you wrote the wrong email, right? So it's the wrong copy that didn't create value that makes them want to continue get it. Or number two, right, is maybe they are the wrong patient for you.
Yes, I would agree that number one is in your mind, and number two is correct. Is if someone unsubscribes, like, your job is to market to someone until they become your patient and buy from you, or customer and buy from you, or they unsubscribe and tell you to stop calling, or like whether it's on the phone, you stop calling them. It's like I said, it's if someone's given us permission to send them emails, there's an unsubscribe button at the bottom. Like, they can unsubscribe at any time. And sometimes, like, it used to bother me that people would unsubscribe. But what I'm looking for is, did I get more unsubscribes or more clicks? And some days I'll get more unsubscribes than clicks. So I'm like, good, I don't need those people on my email list. I just need, 5 people on my email list.
And I've worked with a lot of owners over the years where, like, they're not just sending the first email. When they first send the first email, they're like, oh my God, my patients aren't used to getting emails from me. I'm getting this terrible, like, unsubscribe rate. It's like this cleansing that actually happens, right?
It's
and
great.
Then once you then you go in this process, you got to train your prospects and your patients to actually receive emails from you, right?
And that is exactly why you don't put your lead magnet on the thank you page. You put your lead magnet in your email.
Yes.
When giving away something for free, you don't put the details or the download on the thank you page. You put that in the email, because you have to train them to go to your email and find it. And in that first email, you have to tell them, hey, I'm going to send you regular emails, and this is the content, and this is why.
Yeah, because let's be honest, like, at the end of the day, is that, like, especially through this pandemic, there's only 2 things that we look at every single day. It's emails and phone. Am I right? Everything else is like, like social media, like, we just turn it off. We're like, fuck, we're overwhelmed. Like, I don't want to see what Betty is doing, like, having fun in Florida right now, right?
Yep.
So, hey, so what is an acceptable unsubscribe rate, Aaron, in your opinion?
Look, if 80% of people are unsubscribing from an email, then there's a problem. But if you're writing the emails that are personalized to people, the only people who are really, like, from your patient list, the people that are really going to unsubscribe are people that moved away and they've been gone for years, and you haven't been emailing them. There may be people who are like, oh, I don't really want help. I'm just.
What's the number? What's your number? I'll share my number.
Yeah. Unsubscribe. I don't know. I'll get like I could go look, but when I send a patient email, I send less emails to my clinic prospects than I do coaching. I mean, if my click-through rate's 1%, I'll get like a 0.5% unsubscribe rate.
There you go, everyone. So my rule of thumb is you should get an unsubscribe of less than 1%. If that makes sense, type in 1%. Anything more than 1% means that, like,
you weren't getting permission to get them on your list. You're sending them spammy stuff. They don't know why. I mean, that's it. Like, if you bought an email list, or you bought a clinic from someone else and they came with an email list, and people, they're like, I don't know.
I believe the last reason, and then we're gonna have, like, Aaron wrap up here, is that, like, if you're not sending them, the purpose of sending them emails is actually get your clinic to be top of mind, okay? And if you're not top of mind for that, like, potential patient, someone else is, and it's not necessarily another physiotherapist. It's not necessarily another chiropractor. It could be like a, personal trainer. It could be a nutritionist. It could be like a naturopath. There's all these other people that are actually not willing to do what, like, you should be doing, to be their top of mind, So, and I think that's good. And the last thing I just want to talk about when it comes to, like, tips on writing emails, and Aaron talked about, is they have to be scannable, right? Because people scan stuff. Okay, if that makes sense, type in scannable. So by making it scannable, is like, you got to use short sentences, you got to bold certain things, you got to, like, make it so it's like 1, 2, 3, very actionable, so that when someone glances on it,
Right.
They know exactly what you look at. And then last thing is, it has to be like a conversation, you know? How do you write it so you use words like you and your, and like, it's like you're talking to your grandma, not a
Right.
corporate email you get from Apple, or not a corporate email you get from Best Buy. Like,
Yeah, it's personal. So it's like, you don't want it to be word salad, right? Which is just a bunch of words without any formatting. And you could, as you get started doing this, go back and as you review your emails the first time, anytime you say I in there, replace it with you. Like, cause it's not about me, it's about them. It's not about like, here's what I've done for you. It's like, you're going to love this.
I love that. I love that. And everyone, maybe type in the chat, what is your biggest takeaway from what we talked about today? Type in the chat. You know, what is your biggest takeaway? Aaron, like, I've had like massive takeaways. I love this topic of email marketing.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of those things that most people don't know that they need to be doing, and they're scared of, and they don't. And what they're looking at is the most valuable resource and asset their clinic actually owns is your patient email list.
Yeah, most clinics are sitting on 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 emails. And you know what? They're doing nothing with it, you know, yet like they don't have no problem spending money to spend 5 hours a day on Instagram and Facebook, try to get my followers like in Uganda, followers and like in like maybe like the UK, you know, who cares? Let's work on the easy stuff, you know, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, the shiny object syndrome, emails have been around for a long time. It's not a shiny object, but it's a really bright gold colored object.
Yeah. So Aaron, you got all these like different, like more like email templates. You want to talk about this? And as you talk about this, like I'm going to get people to like fill this out like in the chat, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've put together and what Rick asked me to put together is the templates for these top emails that we send out to people. And when you go in and you put in your name and email, I'm going to directly send you a link to I think it's a Word doc where you can copy and paste and fill in your name and information and send these out. And it's got instructions on how to do it and what to do, but it includes the 9-word email, the checking in email. I believe there's the thank you email. And I don't have like a template for the Seinfeld email because that's just, you know, like I can't write that for you, but that's just about you following that formula that Rick and I talked about and sending it out to people. So the Ultimate Physio Profit Generator is really these templates that you can plug and play. And one of my mastermind members just sent it out to his email list. He's got a in-network, right? He's recently at a network clinic in Flagstaff, and he got 500 responses to the 9-word email and turned that into like $5,000 worth of patients with just one email idea.
I love that. I love that. So I put the link in the chat. If you want me to email you this, type in template in the chat. Okay. If you type in template in the chat, I'll email this to you as well. Type template in the chat if you want me to do that. And so like Aaron, like that was amazing. That was awesome. You know, I really enjoyed that session with you, you know, right?
Appreciate it. Dude, I always enjoy coming on and chatting with you because I always learn something too. So
yeah,
it's great.
And what's the one thing you learned from me today or us?
Well, I learned it from Gene, like ask people for personal email address. So I'm going to go on my forms and just put in personal email address rather than just email address. Cause I want that personal email address. That's a great distinction to ask for on the opt-ins.
Yeah. And great job with Jean. I don't think she's here right now. Like everyone, if you want to reach out to Jean Eaton, she's a privacy expert just for like healthcare people, you know, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
And so she's wicked. And so once again, everyone, like if you didn't download the link, I'll put in the chat. I'll email you that again, and you could download it. There's some great templates there. I'm going to even download it myself because I'm an email junkie, you know, right?
Yeah.
And so, Aaron, I just want to say thank you very much for attending. Once again, thank you for joining the show. And I am super excited for 2021. Is there any like ending word? And how do people find you, like Aaron?
Yeah, the best way to find me is Instagram at Aaron Lebauer. If you click on the link and you'll get on my, and you download the things through the link, you'll get on my email address. I'll send you updates about our webinars and live events and things like that. But Instagram's the best at Aaron Lebauer, or aaronlebauer.com is where you'll find me on the line.
Yeah, and I have to say, everyone, like Aaron's Instagram thing is like off the hook. He actually has like amazing like tips every single like couple of days where he teaches you something very tactical. You know, he did these nice like 1-minute videos, and so check out his Instagram, everyone, because you got some great stuff there. And Aaron, once again, thank you very much for the show, and I will talk to you later, buddy. You know, we'll
Absolutely,
hang out soon, okay?
Rick. Thanks.
Okay?
Thanks to everybody.
Right.
Appreciate you guys.
Everybody. Bye, everybody. We'll see everyone next episode, okay? And have yourself a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday, okay?